Hello, I'm Rebecca.
And I am Julia.
And welcome to the development of the English language. Today we are at the school in Sydney, and the girls have been working with the project for 5 months.
We are going to meet 3 exchange students, Ida, Linnea and Stephanie.
Hi, good evening. Good evening. So you are exchange students, right?
Yep.
Can you introduce yourself?
I'm Stephanie and I went to Western Australia to study.
My name is Linnea and I went to New Zealand to study.
My name is Ida and I studied in Scotland.
And what did you think about it?
It was a good experience and I had a lot of fun.
Well, I agree. It was really fun. And one time I went bungee jumping with my exchange family.
Was it scary?
It was really scary.
I saw guys with kilts. It's like a skirt. It was quite awkward because they looked okay.
Is it true that men doesn't have underwear under the kilt?
I don't know where you got that information from. No, we don't really want to know either.
No, I just heard a long time ago.
Okay. Well, no, it's not true.
Okay.
Not that I've looked, but
You should.
Did you eat something special?
yeah, I ate haggis actually.
How was it?
It was disgusting. It's okay to say that, right?
Yeah.
It's the guts of a sheep put into a sheep's stomach and then boiled for like 24 hours, and it's just awful. Yeah, it sounds really gross. But it's
Did
typical
it smell?
Scottish food, so I had to try at least.
Did it smell?
No, not actually not. It doesn't smell anything.
Okay.
No.
Who were the first speaking people in your country?
That must be the Aborigines, who, well, they didn't speak English, they just spoke a weird language, and they came to Australia about 60,000 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, New Zealand was one of the last places on Earth to get inhabited by humans. The Polynesians got to New Zealand somewhere between the 11th and the 13th century, and they became the Maori, the native folk of New Zealand.
Well, the native Scottish people, they wandered from what now is called Europe, and then they found Scotland.
Oh.
Yeah.
How did the language come to your country?
Well, it started with Queen Elizabeth I of England, who died, unfortunately. And then Jacob VI of Scotland inherited the throne. So he working over both Scotland and England, and a huge struggle for power began between Ireland, Wales, England and Scotland, and it all went out to be that England and Scotland became one country called the Kingdom of Great Britain.
Okay.
So the Scottish and the English language were mixed as it became one country.
Yeah.
The first English-speaking people that came to New Zealand were British Australians that came from the fairly new founded British colony in Australia, where Sydney is now sited. Some of the first visits were paid from whale and seal hunting ships, as well as trading ships from Europe and America. And in the 19th century, Christian missionaries settled in New Zealand to convert the Maori inhabitants. Now the amount of other settlers improved, and soon they were pouring in from Australia and Britain and America. So in 1840 the British and the Maori signed an agreement, and they became a British colony.
Okay, in Australia it began with, well, first of all, the first European that came to Australia was a Dutch navigator, and the first Englishman was James Cook that came to Australia in 1770, and around 1778 Britain established a penal colony, and they actually sent their prisoners and criminals to Australia to be kept there. And so the English language came to Australia through the British colony.
How did it develop?
The Aborigines that lived in Australia before the British colony came were either killed or made slaves, so their language didn't quite come through. So the English today isn't affected by that. And so yeah, the English is quite kind of the same as the British, because it came from the British colony.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's fairly new. The English came to New Zealand in the 19th century, so it have not developed so much. So, yeah, well, it's like in other countries, the young people use other words for things and such, but not otherwise.
Well, the Scottish people at first had their own language, but in the 18th century they began to speak a bit English, and from then to now it's more likely that you'll understand what you're saying, since it's more and more influenced by the British English.
What does the English in your country sound like?
Can you tell us some typical words?
In Australia, typical phrases in Australia are like crikey and such.
Instead of?
What does it mean?
Well, it doesn't really mean anything. It means like when you're like angry, you say crikey or something. It doesn't really mean something. And then good day, mate. That's good day, mate. And mate's like dude. So and then good on ya means good on you. Like if you do something good, it's good on ya. And yeah, that's kind of it.
Well, New Zealand English sounds pretty much like Australian English. It's most these Maori words that the New Zealanders have borrowed from the natives Maori, and it's most words for animals and plants and such. So, but well, I heard lots of like British and Australian words that they use a lot.
Okay.
This was a really interesting day. And what did you learn today, Julia?
I learned that native people in New Zealand are called the Maori, and in Australia the first colonies were created to send prisoners from Britain. And the English queen died, so the Scottish king inherited the throne.
And that was why they started to speak English in Scotland. We are looking forward to next year when we have new exchange students here to tell us about their countries. So see you next year.
Bye!